Hey guys, Danae Judd here. It is Friday, October 2nd. It is a wet and cold Friday thanks to Hurricane Joaquin, but it is the season for scarves and layers, so take comfort in that. Although not too much comfort or you won't like yourself very much come spring. It's my life anyway. Okay, so tomorrow, October 3rd, we are going to be seeing some changes in the real estate industry. There are some new regulations taking place, and they are calling it TRID. Basically, it's a Consumer Protection Act. So in the height of the market, buyers would go to purchase their homes and they would go to their lender to get their rate quote and fees, only to find out at the closing table that what they thought they were getting and what they're actually getting are two totally different things. So they were left with two options. They could go through with the deal with the risk that they might not be able to afford what they're actually signing on to because they weren't expecting it, or they could default on contract with the risk of being sued, which is never a good option. So naturally, people went with the first option, and unfortunately, in a lot of cases, they weren't able to afford it and keep up with their properties, which ultimately helped lead to the downfall and the crisis of the market, unfortunately. So at the time, the consumer said, well, listen, we couldn't really understand the disclosures. They're very confusing. So basically, the government has come in and changed the disclosures that are being made to consumers to make it more understandable to you guys, more reader friendly. And then number two, the time frame in which you guys actually get those disclosures. The thing to look out for right now as a buyer is just to make sure that when you're writing an offer on a property, you're padding your contract with a little bit more room. Don't rush to the closing table. You're likely going to need a little bit more time, especially as it starts to roll out. And frankly, everyone's just getting used to the new regulations. You're not going to be able to waive your rights to the time period in which these disclosures need to be made. So it's going to be very important to leave yourself that extra time in case your lender needs it. As a seller, it's going to be important to make sure that the offer coming in, that the parties to the transaction, the lender and the title company that the buyer is choosing, have the support, the knowledge, and the capacity to adhere to these new regulations so that you don't end up delaying your process as well, because you always have a second step. So just make sure that you're working with some professionals and they're all working in sync with each other to ensure that your timeline stays on track. And just anticipate a little bit longer close dates. You're not going to be able to rush it right now. Maybe in a few months, but as these things get more familiar with the industry, but as they're getting rolled out, that's just what to expect right now. Of course, our clients you're all A-okay because we are on top of it and looking out for you guys. Moving on, the fall market. It's a regular fall market. We are seeing an uptick in inventory, so we're seeing more homes out there on the market. We're seeing them sit a little bit longer too. So it's a little bit more difficult to sell, not impossible. Just have to make sure that you are that much more focused on your strategy, your marketing, your staging, and your pricing to get the home sold in the fall market. Okay, very important to do that. And of course, we'll help you with that as well. And then for buyers, interest rates did lower again today. So if you're not locked in, but you are under contract, it might be a good day to reach out to your loan officer. If you are locked in, you might want to see if your loan program was affected by that positively and if you have a float down option available to you. So of course, always good news on all fronts is good news for everybody, and I'm happy to deliver it to you guys. Any questions that you have, we are always here to answer any of them for you, your family, and friends that you continue to trust us with. Thank you so much for that. Any resource that we can provide to you or simply an introduction that we can make, that's what we're here for, guys. So whether you want to text us, give us a phone call, or send us an email, you know where to reach us. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Until then, stay dry this weekend, have a fun time, and we'll talk to you soon.